After 50 years of marriage, I finally told her the truth. And it didn't come out during an argument or a dramatic moment. It came late in life, when the future felt smaller than the past. I'm in my late 70s now, and for half a century I shared a home and routine with the same woman. From the outside, our marriage looked solid. We raised children, paid bills, showed up for family, and survived years together. People called us lucky. What they never saw was the silence inside that stability. The words I kept postponing because I believed there would always be time. I thought honesty could wait. Life didn't. If you're still married, hoping you'll say what matters later, understand this: time is deciding. Before I tell you what I finally said to her, you need to understand the lie I lived with for most of my life. For most of my marriage, I believed silence was safer than honesty. I thought being a good husband meant keeping the peace, swallowing my frustration, and locking difficult thoughts away where they couldn't hurt anyone. I believed love was proven by consistency, by showing up, by providing, not by opening old wounds with uncomfortable truths. Every time I felt unseen, misunderstood, or lonely beside her, I told myself it was kinder to stay quiet. Over the years, that choice started to feel responsible, even noble. We avoided fights, the house stayed calm, life moved forward. But something inside me slowly withdrew. I told myself I was protecting her feelings, when in reality, I was protecting myself from discomfort and fear. I thought honesty would cause damage, but silence was quietly doing that work for me. If you believe silence keeps love alive, understand this: it starves it instead. The longer I stayed quiet, the harder it became to speak, until decades passed without me realizing how far I'd drifted from the man I was supposed to be in that marriage. I became someone who performed love instead of living it, convincing myself this was maturity, not avoidance. Years passed quietly, and with each passing year the distance felt normal, almost invisible, until the thought of losing her suddenly made every unsaid word feel reckless and unforgivable. It wasn't until the moment I almost lost her that I realized how dangerous my silence had truly been to our shared life together. Then, one ordinary morning reminded me how close the end really is. She was weaker than usual, moving slowly, her hands trembling as she held her cup of tea, and something in me tightened. Later that day, a doctor's voice, calm but unshakable, told me she needed tests, that something was wrong, and suddenly the world I thought steady felt brittle. I followed her to the hospital, walked beside her as nurses wheeled her through corridors that smelled of antiseptic and fear. She fell asleep in the bed, fragile and pale, and I sat beside her holding her hand, feeling how light it had become in mine. Machines hummed softly, monitors blinked, and in that quiet, sterile room, I realized I had spent decades rehearsing how I would handle her funeral, how I would grieve, but never how I would speak honestly to her. The words I'd withheld, my fears, my regrets, my gratitude, the truths I had buried to protect her or myself, pressed against my chest like they had been waiting for this moment to escape. I sat there thinking, if she doesn't wake up, she'll never know the truth. And neither will I. It was shocking how quickly life can reduce the familiar to fragile, how suddenly the routine of 50 years can feel temporary. This moment doesn't announce itself. It just arrives and takes everything with it. That's when I understood the truth I had avoided my entire marriage. The one I could no longer put off without risking regret that would last forever. No one tells you this about long marriages, that staying together isn't the same as being close. I spent decades believing that love was proven simply by showing up, paying the bills, keeping a roof over our heads, and avoiding fights. I thought avoiding conflict was proof of care, that enduring life's challenges together was enough to sustain intimacy. I was wrong. Love doesn't wither because of disagreement. It withers because of silence, because of the truths left unspoken, because the heart retreats when words are withheld. Over the years, I realized the distance between us didn't come from betrayal or anger. It came from restraint, from the fear of being too honest, too vulnerable. I used to think love meant keeping the peace. Now I know love means risking it, speaking when it's uncomfortable, revealing yourself even if it might shake the foundation you've built. The years I spent avoiding pain in the moment ended up creating a quiet ache that no anniversary, no shared meal, and no family gathering could fill. Time is a thief, and if you wait until the end to speak, the end might come first. And that's why, after 50 years, I finally did what terrified me most, what I had feared would disrupt everything, only to discover that truth was the only thing strong enough to hold us together fully. Here's the truth I waited 50 years to say. I told her that I had been afraid to speak when I felt lonely, that I carried fears and insecurities I never shared because I thought they might burden her or make me seem weak. I told her I loved her more than I could ever fully express, but that I didn't always know the right way to show it, that sometimes my actions fell short of what my heart felt. I confessed that I had hidden parts of myself, little corners of my soul I thought she might not understand, and that I regretted not choosing her more loudly, more boldly, every single day we had together. I expected tension, maybe even anger, but she looked at me with soft, tear-filled eyes, and all I felt was a quiet relief, a recognition that the years of silence didn't erase the love that had always been there. She squeezed my hand, and in that simple gesture, I felt the forgiveness and understanding I had feared I would never earn. That moment broke open everything I thought I knew about courage, vulnerability, and partnership. You still have time to say this. I almost didn't, but once I did, the weight of decades lifted. And I realized, with a clarity that came too late but was worth everything, how differently I should have lived and loved throughout those 50 years. Here's the question I wish someone had forced me to answer years ago. If your partner were gone tomorrow, what would you regret never saying? Not the simple words you repeat every day, not the casual, "I love you," that slips between routines, but the truths that sit heavy in your chest, the fears you never admitted, the gratitude you never expressed, the apologies you postponed, the ways you failed to show them just how much they mattered. Think about it. The moments you assume will last forever don't, and the words you believe can wait often vanish with time. This isn't dramatic. This is real life. And real life runs out quietly, without warning, leaving only memories and the echo of unsaid truths. What would you want them to know about you? About how deeply you've cared? About the moments you wish you could relive differently? The question isn't meant to make you panic. It's meant to make you act, to make you speak while you still have the chance. So what do you do with this realization, now that the clarity has arrived and the clock keeps moving faster than comfort or fear allows? You don't need 50 years to learn this. Start today by saying the hard thing, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if you're afraid of what it might stir. Say it with kindness, with care, and with honesty. Tell them what you've been holding inside, your fears, your regrets, the moments you wish you had done better. Don't wait for anniversaries, birthdays, or perfect timing to express gratitude. Tell them now that you see them, that you value them, that their presence has shaped your life in ways you never said aloud. Admit when you've been distant, when you've held back, when silence was easier than truth. Let your words bridge the distance that routine and habit create. Choose honesty over comfort, even when it shakes the familiar, even when it makes you vulnerable, because honesty is the greatest act of love you can give. Don't assume you'll get another chance. Many people don't, and the weight of unsaid truths is heavier than you realize. Pick up the phone, write the letter, sit across from them and speak. The time to start is now. And when you do, you'll see that what feels like risk is actually the only way to make love real, present, and lasting. I'll leave you with the one lesson I learned far too late. Here's the truth I want you to remember. Love isn't measured by the number of years you spend together, by the milestones you check off, or by the routine that feels safe and predictable. Love is measured by how fully present you are in the moments you have, by the courage you summon to speak what matters, and by the vulnerability you offer even when it scares you. Silence might feel safer, easier, or more convenient, but it never builds closeness. It only builds distance. Regret doesn't come from the words you said wrong. It comes from the ones you never said at all, from the truths that lingered unspoken until it was too late. Don't wait until age or circumstance forces honesty out of you. Speak now. Act now. Tell them what you carry in your heart while you still can. If this resonated with you, leave a comment. What's one thing you need to say but haven't yet? And if you want more stories like this, subscribe, because the lessons life teaches most painfully are the ones worth remembering and sharing.